Michaela'S family knew that I had a homeless ministry growing because they had supported it during those couple of years when I was able to supply things for them through donations. And so they called and asked where they could find homeless people. And I will get to their experience after I explain to you that as they were talking, they decided they needed to go to a store and pick up some items other than the clothes that Michaela had brought with her. And Michaela insisted that she pay for everything. She told me that she works in an ice cream shop near her home, and she had earned some money for that, and she wanted to supply a good news package for them. And so they went shopping and picked up some things, packed it in 10 different bags, came into Kankakee after I had talked to them and said, well, you could find some of them hanging around Jewel, some of them on the street near the old Kaiser Funeral Home. Some of them go to Salvation Army to eat lunch, so if you go there, that would be a good place to find some. There's a couple people that sleep on or near our property, and the city library, which is near our church, is also a place where the homeless sometimes hang out during the day. The other thing I suggested was there was a bus depot not too far away, and that would be a good place to find them. So they came into the city with these bags with the intention of handing them out and praying with the homeless person that they gave them to. And Michaela was leading that group. Grandma was with them. So were some other people, including her dad. And when they got here, it was Black Friday. It was cold outside. We were expecting a lot of snow. There was nobody in front of Jewel. There was nobody on the street by Kaiser's. They went to the library. It was closed on Friday. They went to Salvation Army. It was closed on Friday. They went to the bus depot. There was nobody hanging around there. So they came over to our church and found one homeless person who was still trying to sleep. And in fact, that person was asleep. And so they took a bag, and instead of waking her up, sat the bag down where she would see it right away when she would wake up, and said a prayer and left. And then they stopped at my house and asked if I would take those 9 bags and hand them out to homeless people that I knew. I made the decision and told her that I was going to hand it out to people that I knew didn't drink all the time or waste their money that way. I was going to hand it out to people that weren't necessarily Christians, but I certainly would hand it out to Christians, but I would hand it out to people who were reputable. In the last 4 years, I have 2 pages of a college-lined notebook with first names on them. So I have met in those 4 years over 60 different homeless people that hang around near downtown Kankakee from time to time, or McDonald's, where I go to drink coffee. So Michaela dropped those off to me. When I saw the person who had the surprise bag there, she said to me, she's around 27 years old, she said to me, who brought this bag? And I said, do you have any idea? And she said, well, I think it might be so-and-so. And I said, no, it wasn't her. I said, it was Michaela. She said, well, who's Michaela? And I explained to her that she was a senior in high school and had this feeling for the homeless and wanted to help them out. She shared with me that this is the first time that she can remember in a long time that somebody just approached her and gave her a gift. She had tears in her eyes when she talked about how much she appreciated everything that was in there. Now, I want you to see what Michaela has done, so I brought one of them with me. A pair of gloves, Kleenexes, Kleenexes in a couple of packages, alcohol wipes, cheese dip and crackers, sunscreen lotion, a toothbrush and toothpaste, a stocking cap, a magic towel that expands in water, chapstick, small plastic Band-Aids, a hooded sweatshirt, a t-shirt that says, live generously, live generously. This is from Thrivent Insurance, an insurance company that Lutherans use. And another t-shirt that says, every life is a treasure. March for Life in Palatine. Evidently Palatine is another of the suburbs. Evidently Michaela participated in that. And some energizing sport deodorant. Each of the bags contains those kinds of things. But to Michaela, something that was in the bag that is more important to her was this. In the bag, she had this paper folded like this. It shows a Christmas tree. I suggested to her that when we put those in the bags, and she changed it for me, that we put that picture on the inside because Michaela wrote a note to everybody. This one says, for I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. And then she drew a picture of Jesus in a manger, and it says, Jesus came for you. He loves you. Merry Christmas. Love, the blank family. Blank is not their name, but I don't want to publicize it. This one is a picture of a gingerbread man. At the top, it says, may the Lord bless you and protect you. May the Lord make his face shine on you and be gracious to you. May the Lord look with favor on you and give you peace. You are loved by the God of the universe. With love, the blank family. This one has a picture of reindeer pulling somebody in a sled. And on the other side, it says, in Michaela'S handwriting, "Merry Christmas. The people walking in darkness have seen a great light." Isaiah 9:2. And that darkness will not be overcome. Jesus is the light of the world. May you know his perfect love for you. Blessings to you. Love, your sister in Christ. Each of the 10 packages had a message, but no two messages were the same. And you can see that that's in Michaela'S handwriting. This one has the picture of a snowman. Now I suggested, like on the tree, that we not fold it like this, because the homeless would take a look at that, oh, that's nice, and set it aside and miss the message. So I wanted the message to be shown. This one, she wrote the message around the snowman here. So it's kind of small and you can't really see it, but it says, "Come to me, all of you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take upon you peace and learn from me, and you will find rest for your soul. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." He loves you so much. With love, the blank family. Michaela, if you're watching this, I am deeply touched by your dedication to following the Lord's will. The people that have received this so far, I'm not going to reveal their names, but first of all, they are delighted by the size of the bag. I have had one homeless person who has been homeless for 3 years who said, "I'm sorry, but I don't want to take that because I don't want to have to carry anything around." But the rest have looked at that and said, "Who did this? This is for me?" And they just are overjoyed. In fact, if I happen to see them at McDonald's, they want to buy me a cup of coffee, which I refuse because coffee refills are free at McDonald's. So I tell them, you can get my free refill if you want. The other concept that I am hearing from some of the homeless people is very similar to the reaction from the young lady that said, "Nobody cares enough about me to ever give me anything. I have to beg for it." And the other reaction has always been, "Are you sure you want to give this to me?" Like they are not worthy. And I take the time to pray with each one of them. I don't ask them whether I can pray. I just say, well, we need to pray about this. And I pray that the Lord would guard them and protect them and help them survive in this tough world. Some of them tell me that they have an interview coming up Friday for a job, or one of them this morning said, "Hey, I think I get to work today. This guy's gonna pick me up. He removes snow and he needs another shoveler. So I get to go earn some money by shoveling snow." The concept of homeless people is sometimes we think that they are lazy or they don't care or they just want to be helped by the government. And that may be true, of some of them. Yes, some of them do use drugs. Some of them do drink too much. Some of them ask for $3 every day. And when you ask them why they need $3, they usually say, because I want to go to Burger King to buy some food. Well, they don't want to go to Burger King. They want to go to the liquor store to buy these $2 or $3 bottles of whiskey or rum or whatever at the liquor store. Some of them are carrying a can of beer every day. They can't afford to eat, but they're drinking a can of beer. One guy, I said, for breakfast? And he said yes. So there are all kinds of homeless people, just like there are all kinds of regular people. Some of the homeless were removed from their house because maybe they were involved in drugs, and so the parents said, you can't stay here. I know one person whose parents live about 2 blocks from me. She is allowed to sleep on the back porch. It is not an enclosed porch. She's not allowed to come in and use the restroom. However, she said, it was my fault. I misbehaved. Won't tell me what it was, obviously, but I misbehaved. Some of them not last week, the week before, were sleeping in a vacant house. And at 4:30 in the morning, the owner of that house and 2 policemen came and wrote out a citation. It's like a trespassing citation. They don't have to go to court for it. They don't have to pay a fine unless they ever are back on that same property. And he had a problem because he left 2 bags of stuff in that house. He had his backpack and the clothes that he was wearing, but he lost his other possessions. I asked him if he wanted to go to the police station to talk to them and see if I could go back into the house and get it for them. And he said, I don't want to go to the police station. And I said, why not? And he said, because I've got 1 more month to go on parole. He had been in jail for something that he did 20 years ago and had spent a rather lengthy time in jail, was trying to get a job, had applied at Wendy's and McDonald's and those kinds of places, but of course the background check was in his way. So I suggested to him that maybe he needed to go to a factory or something, but he ended up getting some of that back because the people who threw him out threw it in the trash out back. So he took it out of their garbage cans because it was his. Michaela, for a senior in high school to be going through their clothes and saying, I think I need to take some of this to Goodwill. No, wait a minute. Maybe I should take that to the homeless people. I don't know if you knew that there were a lot of homeless people in the Kankakee area, but there are a lot of homeless people in a lot of different places. In the 4 years that I have been involved in a homeless ministry, I have a notebook that is college lined. It has the first name of homeless people that I've met, and I'm ready to start my 3rd page. So there's 60 or more that I've met in the 4 years. I am so pleased that you decided that you could be in ministry to the homeless also. And this may be your only experience with that, or it may be the start of a bigger ministry. But God has to be pleased with you. I thank you so much for involving me. It has given me a new outlook on my ministry to the homeless. All I'm doing is talking to them, taking them gloves and blankets and that kind of thing from our rummage sale here at church when Carol has some extra stuff, and she has been real helpful with that. But their needs are great. But God has promised that He will take care of us. And Michaela, He does. Thank you so much.